studio. I create tutorials for beginners, intermediates, and advanced Photoshop and Lightroom users. In today's tutorial we'll learn about composing and blending and the power of Camera Raw by creating a realistic reflection of a street in a cafe window where our model is sitting. Then once we have created the reflection, we're going to complete our scene by adding some realistic raindrops on our cafe window. If you would like to follow along with this tutorial, you can download all the files from Adobe Stock. I have provided the link to the images in the description below. Also added some background files to accompany this tutorial so you can experiment with different textures. Create a folder on your desktop, name it, then download all the files into the folder. I have already downloaded the files and created a new folder. Alright, let's jump into Photoshop. So go to new file. So you go do this in inches, so it'll be about 24 inches by 15, and roughly it'll be around about 60 centimeters by 38 centimeters. 300 dpi, RGB color, transparent, and click create. Okay, so first thing that we want to do is to bring in our images that we're going to use. Okay, so go to desktop where you've downloaded all your images into your folder. There we go. So go into my folder and go pick out the images. First one is this one here of our model with a camera. Just going to plop this into our canvas. Stretch it to fit the canvas, like so, and then click OK, and then we could do the same, bring in our other photograph. That's this one here, our street scene. Same thing, just pop it in, and stretch it to fit. Using these handles, and once you're happy with it, click OK. So as I go along, I always name my layers. Name this one model, and this one street. Okay, so best thing to do, so what I'm doing now is just bringing down the opacity a bit to see where my models line up, my two layers. Then we can just move them over till we're happy, and go Command T if you need to just stretch it out a little bit more. Looks about right. Then click OK. And we're just going to bring this one back up to 100% again. And we're just going to turn this one down as screen. Alright. So the next thing we want to do is to make this a smart object. So just go to Layer, Smart Object, Convert to Smart Object. So the reason that we're doing this is because if we didn't have this as a smart object, let me just undo this. So if we didn't, so if what I'm trying to do is to just blur this background out, so it's not in focus or anything, because now it's like looking at a reflection in a window, it will be distorted. It wouldn't be in focus or anything. So that's what I'm trying to create here by going to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, I'm doing this on about 10, 12. That seems to be okay. But so if we wanted to go back into it again, into Gaussian blur, we would start all over again. So let me just go back, by going into layer, create a smart object, then go into filter, Gaussian blur, do it, and then if we go back into Gaussian blur again, we can then go back and change it, you see. So that's why we're doing this one. Okay, about 12 is it? There you go, 12. Alright, so I'm happy with that. So the next thing I want to do is to duplicate it. So go Command J, but then we just go, we don't need the smart object in this one, in this layer. So what we're going to do is click on the layer and go to Lasertize Layer. Okay, and switch that off. So what I want to do next, I want to darken this up a little bit, or darken the street layer up a bit, so it brings out her. Okay, so what we're going to do is go down to the adjustment layer and go to layer, clip on the clipping mask. By doing that, you're only affecting this layer and not the layer down below. If you just didn't have the clipping mask, you would alter both layers simultaneously. So just going to bring this up. So as you can see, we're darkening the background, but we're also bringing out our bottom layer of the model. That's okay, I like that. So if I switch this one off, you can see it's very dark. See the difference. Okay, so we're quite happy with that. So the next thing I want to do is to make a little bit of a green tinge to our window. The way we do that is by going up to, again, adjustment layer, go up to solid, go to the green, click on that, and again we only want to affect this layer. We go to click on the, just go to create a clipping mask, and we're going to send this down to screen. So now we want to go to black and white. Again, we only want to affect this layer here. Just bring in the colors a little bit more. Starting to look very much like a reflection in a cafe window. Just play around with your sliders till you're happy. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. And this one. After we've done that, next we want to go to adjustment layers. We want to go to solid color. So I'll go to greens over here. Click on that. As you see, that's not affecting anything, so what we're trying to do, just want to affect this layer here. We're going to do is click on the right mouse and go down to create a clipping mask. Okay. So we got like a nice little tinge going on here, green tinge. But we still want to bring her out a little bit more, our model. So we're just going to go up to, again, to adjustment layers, black and white. Again, let's click on the clicking mask. And we're just going to bring our colours in a little bit. Just about there, so you get a nice reflection. Now it's starting to look like a reflection in a window in a cafe shop, so that's looking pretty good right now. But there's still a little bit more that we need to do here. What I want to do is to add some raindrops onto the window, so it looks like if it's been raining. So what I'm going to do there is open up our file, go to our folder again on our desktop. There you go. And just go pick out a layer that we need. There you go. Then bring that into our scene. Scale it up. Scale it to fit, I should say, and click OK. Right, now I'm going to kill this one, rain drops. Okay, and I'm going to set this at so we're going to set our raindrops at hard and light. We could go down to our adjustment layer, go to levels, click it mask to it, and then adjust. Bring them back in. Our dark tones. Too dark. And highlight a little bit. Our mid-tones. Dark. So you get your image how you like it. There you go. About there, I think. That looks quite like it. You can see the drops of rain coming down our window pane. Click OK. As you can see, there is water running down our window, but our tarmac, our road surface, is completely dry. So now we're going to try and create, if there is water actually on the tarmac on our road, by going create a new layer, going up to filter, render, clouds. So we have our clouds here. Just go scale this down to where the road is, and then go to edit, freeform, stretch. So go stretch these out. Looks like water, something on the road. Try and get the perspective right. Once you're happy with that, click OK. and back up to filter again, go to blur, go to lens, go to lens blur. And it looks like we've got some light hitting the surface. Increase the sizes, or decrease. Something looks like, you know, if there is some like water on it. Okay, and click OK. Now we just go down to our blend module. And we're going to go down to hard light and bring down the opacity a bit. Right, and then we just go to our mask, go to our brush tool, and go to our brush tool, reduce our brush size a little bit, and then we're just going to brush out the water that we don't want on. Like so. The model. Doing a quickie here. Get rid of all the background. And just slowly take it away. It's quite good at the moment. There you go. Alright, that looks okay. So the next thing I want to try and do, if you look at any glass windows or anything like that, there's always a certain amount of scratches on it. So what I want to do is bring in another texture, background. We could go for this one here. Okay, and bring, as you see, there's lots of scratches and everything. We go try and put this onto our window. Bring it up here. Again, stretch it to fit. And the handles. Click OK. And now we want to just bring this screen, no, overlay, oh, definitely no, more like the screen, go for lighten. So let's go bring into levels by going to our adjustment layer again, going up to levels. Again, we only want to affect this layer here, so go make a clip mask. And we'll just bring this in. Play around with it till you're happy. There, and then just bring down the opacity. Get something like faded. There you go, just like that. So it looks like there's just some scratches on our window. Right, I'm quite happy with that, but there's just one more thing that I want to do. I want to go into Camera Raw and play around with some of the presets. So what we're going to do now is just go to highlight everything by clicking on Shift and then going up to go to Command G, make it into a group, but also we're going to have to turn this into a smart object, because if we want to do anything with this right now, we can't alter anything at all. We have to create this into a smart object. Right, convert it into a smart object. Now we can go into filter, we can go into Camera Raw, we can go into our presets, and you see there's lots of different presets we can go with. And some of them I've used before and on different bits of work I've created. Okay, vintage stuff. As you see, there's lots of. And we've got some nice black and white ones. Got travel, travel 2, got urban. Right. Looks quite nice. Got some nice black and white ones. Yeah, you just go in and play with your presets, and gotta go up to this. So I'm just gonna have a look at a few, see which ones I like. Some retro stuff going on. I guess it's a kind of like a cold, wet day. You can kind of go for FT12. Then go up to your basics, and then you can go in and change it a little bit more, your shadows and everything. Highlights and shadows. Got texture. Bring those out a little bit more. Clarity. Make it softer. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Bring a little bit more colour, vibrance, a bit of saturation. Bring that down. Once you're happy with that, click OK. That's it for this tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you've learnt something new. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so you can be notified when the next video is uploaded. Thank you for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon. So goodbye, and thank you very much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.